This is a Rogue Media Network podcast. This is Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.
Hello, everybody. What a joy to welcome to Central Texas Life, Corey Dickman.
I'm back.
I know you're back. You know, it's been several locations ago.
Yeah, we were talking. I think we were over at our original location at Franklin, and you were like, "Hey, I want to have you on the show." And I was like, "Okay." I don't think we'd been doing this very long at that point.
No. And so now, what? Three
Yeah.
years.
Oh my gosh, yeah, 4 years almost
three
now.
or 4.
Yeah.
Anyway,
something like that.
but you are the entrepreneur's entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You know, and I was looking back, reading the bio and all that, and of course, in Baylor grad and in sports, communication. And did you do anything in the entrepreneurship?
I didn't.
I mean, you could teach.
I could.
You need to be teaching.
I had talked to Sean Limbers over there about doing some adjunct teaching. I think it was last year. But I started as a business major and could not pass accounting. I literally failed it twice. and so my dad was like, "Hey, you can take it a third time and who knows what happens, or maybe do something else. And if you ever start a business later, you can hire a CPA."
I was going to say, the people that are geared toward that, just let them do their thing.
Yep.
Well, it's amazing what all you've accomplished in your young life. But, of course, you're the founder and owner of Rogue Capital.
Yeah.
And, complete disclosure, you're my boss here at Rogue Media.
And
also,
you have no boss. You are the best.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And, but what is interesting is all you do for young people, for high school students in training. And so that's what we want to talk about today.
Yeah.
We want to talk about the summer programs that you've got going on.
Yes.
And that they start when?
They start May 27th is our first week of our summer camps. And so they go obviously throughout the summer, but they're in 1 week increments or 1 week chunks. So each camp is 5 days long, and then we go to the next week and the next week. So there's 9 weeks of camps happening. We take 4th of July off, and then for Juneteenth that week, we take that day off during that week. But yeah, it'll be every week all summer.
And so what will they be doing? Well, learning how to be entrepreneurs?
Yeah, well, that's a great question.
A little bit.
Yeah, well, so everything we do, the organization is called Triple Win Waco. Our like main partner is Rappaport Academy, and so we do a lot of the CTE classes and training for Rappaport happens at our Triple Win facility off Webster Avenue. So
which is where we were.
Which is where we were.
We were here.
The last place before we moved Rogue here. But all of our camps have basically entrepreneurship as kind of the spine, if you will, of everything we do. And then off of that, it's woodworking, it's ceramics. They can, learn how to make pottery, and we have a kiln. There's welding, there's esports and like streaming, that kind of thing. Merchandise entrepreneurship is a class.
Really,
like laser cutting, with CNC machines and things like that. So there's a lot of different offerings, and it's for little kiddos. Basically, I think 6 years old or maybe 8 years old.
That's pretty young.
Yeah, it might be our youngest. And then there's like kind of our middle school teenage classes, and then we do offer some adult classes as well.
Oh,
so
that is awesome.
Yeah, but again, everything with that vein of entrepreneurship, because even if students or adults, don't become an entrepreneur, there's a lot of things that they learn kind of throughout that pathway of just, learning to sell something or communicating, helps with interviewing, problem solving, all these things that an entrepreneur does every single day to keep the lights on and keep the things going. Students can learn those things in these classes.
Yeah,
so.
I've always believed that entrepreneurs are born though. That's
it might come more naturally for sure.
I think maybe that's probably how I should sort of alter that a little bit. But you can teach these skills that are so important if somebody wants to have a business or even a cottage thing out of the house or whatever.
Yeah, we have, we had some 8th graders 4 or 5 years ago, kind of our first year we did this program, and now they're seniors, and one was helping out at Waco Block Party, And she used to be so shy. She wouldn't go talk to anybody. Like, oh, I have this product I'm trying to sell. And then on,
you don't want to buy this.
You don't want to buy this thing. Yeah, I walk away from it. But at Block Party, she's a senior, and she was just killing it. She was doing so well, talking to people and networking, and she was introducing me to people. She's like, Corey, you need to meet this guy. I was like, what are you doing? Right. So it's really cool to see kind of the students in the program. But this offering, this is for anybody in Waco. So any, homeschool, public school, private school, doesn't matter. Any student or adult, again, can sign up to be a part of the
So
camps.
It's not, you don't sign up for a multiple. You can, I guess, but you could just I just want to do 1 week to do this.
Yeah.
You could do that.
You could do that. Yeah, we have morning and afternoon classes, or camps. So if you do sign up your kiddo, let's say for a morning and an afternoon, they can stay during that like noon to 1 time, and they can eat lunch and hang out with us. So technically, they could be with us all day. Yeah. If that's what your kiddo wants to do or whatever. So
that is awesome. Well, I'm sure now you say you kind of got started. This is relatively new.
Yeah.
Got started, and now your young ones are seniors in the high school.
They are.
I was just wondering if there are any other kind of success stories that you have seen out of your work with these kids.
One, it's a great question. There's a student that we had. He graduated last year from high school, but he was kind of not sure what he wanted to do with life the year before that, and was kind of thinking of just dropping out and getting a job and kind of doing that. And so instead of doing that, he actually came over. He was our test student, if you will. He pretty much finished high school with us at Triple Win and was taking some online classes, and then we had some classes with him there. And he graduated, and he started his own vending machine business, and was learning how to learning to weld, so he could have a mobile welding business. And so he was just kind of going down a track that he was a great kid already, but not sure where he was going to go in life. Here he got to graduate high school, had a business in his back pocket that he was working, and then had a trade that he was pursuing. So he was an awesome kid. And there's some other really good ones too that we've had, not just from Rappaport, but like La Vega and Waco ISD and these other schools that have obviously great programs and are large ISDs, but still will send their students over to Triple Win to get that kind of career training with that entrepreneurship style to it.
That is awesome.
It's really cool.
And I remember you were kind of affiliated with Guama at WISD for a while.
Yeah, we've done some things with Guama. We have we've been involved. I mean, like Lorena and different school districts have been. Connolly ISD. We actually used their wood shop or their shop for a while at their warehouse, and that's where Waco Axe Company was one of our industry partners, and the students got to build a mobile axe throwing trailer. Most of that was built in their shop
I've been to
at
that
the high
Bear
school.
Arms Brewery.
Yes, at Bear Arms. You probably saw it over there. So we've had really cool and unique partnerships with other schools. And then the cool part about bringing it back to the community is a lot of times our instructors that are working with the students and kind of being our teachers are local entrepreneurs. So, one of our woodworking instructors is a woodworker. Like he has a shop at our space. It's what he does for a living, but then takes time to work with students. So these students, not saying there's not value in just learning woodworking from a general teacher, but it just takes it up another level when they know, oh, this person's doing this
this is what they're doing.
Yeah, for a livelihood. So, we've had cool partnerships with other schools, and then getting to work with local entrepreneurs kind of just puts the cherry on top of Triple Win. So,
well, so let's talk a little bit about your journey.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur. So when did you know this is the kind of thing you wanted to do, or you had that little kernel of talent, I got to be my own boss,
Sure.
basically.
There you go. Yeah. Man, it probably, I was maybe 5 or 6, and
really,
and my mom, I've told this, but my dad was, had the same job 30 years, he retired from that same company,
right.
9 to 5, steady, and that was great. My mom, completely opposite. My mom was always started some business or was selling something or running a vendor market somewhere. And so I was always just I always say I was the unpaid intern that followed my mom everywhere.
Yeah.
And so
on the job training.
Yeah,
sure,
on the job training. But sometimes she would let me make crafts or be a maker when I was young, and I could sell them at these shows. And You know, my mom would have her table, and then I'd have my little table with my little trinkets or whatever I was selling. And I remember it was these little plastic, they were like colorful plastic pieces, and you could put them in the oven, and they would
shrink art.
Yeah, shrink art, and they would like melt together and make little things. And so that was probably the first thing I remember that I used to make. And then my mom would say, "Okay, like how much do you want to sell them for?" So you know, and then on, you know, it always was something. I don't know necessarily starting a business, but definitely like with an entrepreneurial mindset. You know, as kind of I went through junior high and high school, and then getting to Baylor. You know, I wanted to be in business. Couldn't.
Yeah, but you were communications.
I was.
Right,
So yeah. So I ended up graduating communications and film. So I
That's
had
exactly me.
comm
I was
specialist.
going to be in the business school because I wanted to be a broadcaster.
Yeah.
But I was told, don't get your degree in broadcasting. Get it in something else. Well, my dad taught economics at Baylor, so I'll go in the business school. Head accounting.
Hit accounting.
Like,
that weeds you right out.
I will still be there trying to get out of Baylor. So I said, we'll just go to radio TV and get out.
Oh man, and yeah, that would be me and you in that accounting class for sure. Yeah, it was an 8 a.m. class both semesters that I took it, and it was a mistake. I shouldn't have done it, but yeah. So you know, because I wanted to go, you know, either work at ESPN or wanted to go back to Portland and go work for the Portland Trailblazers, the NBA team in Portland.
So you were wanting to do on air side?
You know, I love the like behind the scenes side, like the production side. You know, I even before I chose to go to Baylor, I was actually committed to a school in California. It was in LA, and I think I would have probably enjoyed maybe trying to go down a pathway of, you know, being on TV or something like that or whatever. But you know, at Baylor, that kind of wasn't as accessible maybe as it would have been in like California. So I just like, well, I love sports. I love the production side. So that's the route I want to go and kind of be behind the scenes and do those things. And then that didn't really pan out. And so I was going to move back home to Portland. And that's where then I was like trying to get a job with the Trailblazers. And we had a friend who ran the basically production truck for every home game. So, you know, you'd be in the truck and like throwing up graphics on the screen. And, and I did some of that for Fox Sports for Baylor for the men. I forget what season it was, but I got to sit courtside and I would send stats to the truck like, okay, you know, Lace Darius Dunn is about to have his 12th assist, you know, and put it up on the screen. So I loved that kind of back end things of it. But, you know, here we are.
Yeah, well, it's important. All those, you know, pieces fit into getting what people see on the air. They don't really realize
for sure
how much goes into.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I mean, working at KWTX for a little bit here in town. My senior year, you know, I was a camera operator and an editor, and you do so much. Oh my goodness! And it's always like on a time, like you have 10 seconds to get this out, you know. Yeah. And I think you do. You learn a lot in that environment.
And pressure.
Yeah, that pressure and timelines and things like that. And so, you know, all of that I think goes back into just entrepreneurship in some way. And you know, when we started the Waco escape rooms in 2015, that was like my first venture. And for a while I was like, man, I'm not, you know, I have a degree in communications and film. I'm not using it. I have a master's in sports management. I'm not using it.
Not doing that.
But then you realize you do learn a lot in those classes and from your professors that do translate into even being an escape room owner. So,
So escape rooms started up and then just moved from there to, and so the Rogue Media and the podcasting, the new media.
The new media.
I'm
there
in
you
the
go.
new media
You're
now.
new media now, yeah. Dr. Mia, is it Mia Ramirez? She would just say new media.
The new media. And it truly is that, in that people are shifting away from the legacy, you know, networks, and they just don't watch news at 10 o'clock. And how they just don't anymore. Of course, we were seeing that trend.
Sure.
When I was still working, and that the morning shows were the ones that people were tending to watch. You know, just changes in viewing habits, and it's because there's so much choice now.
Yes, everything is so just on demand that.
Yeah, and you can customize exactly what you want to hear or know about. But I was given the opportunity, thanks to you guys, you and Mike Hamilton, to.
We were given the opportunity to have you here.
It's been a joy because what I do is hyper local. It's talking to people who are doing amazing things that maybe didn't. You know, if you'd been asked, you know, 10 years ago, would you be here doing this?
Sure. Oh,
Like, yeah, I don't
no
you
idea.
know.
Yeah, I would not have said that.
So those stories are so compelling to me because you just see opportunities and you take it. And I think that's the mark of a true entrepreneur, too.
That is true. Yeah, I think it's seizing that opportunity and taking it, but also I think pairing it, and this has at least been my journey, but like pairing it with really good people to run alongside you and do it, you know. And so that fateful day, it was a Wednesday. I don't remember what day it was, but I had just been on a podcast for the first time, the Wacoans podcast. It's no longer active, but I was interviewed on that show, and then the next day the host told me, "Hey, the episode turned out great. You know, it's going to drop on Friday or whatever. But I have some news." And I was like, "Well, what's up?" And he's like, "Well, I'm actually leaving. I'm moving away from Waco, and I don't think the host of the Wacoans should be someone that doesn't live in Waco. Would you want to host it?" And I was like, really cool. I'm going to pass. Like, there's no way I could do that. Like, you know, whatever. But then Mike Hamilton was sitting next to me, and I just asked him, like, "Hey, like, would it be hard to like do a podcast network? Like, forget one show, Mike. Let's talk.
Let's have a
let's
bunch
do
of
hundreds of shows."
That's right.
Yeah, and you know, the ball got rolling.
Yeah.
But like, if Mike had never been next to me that day,
Yeah.
who knows if I would have like, it would have been in my mind for a minute, and then we on to the next thing. But because like you have somebody like Mike who is like brilliant and gets it and just like loves working with our show hosts and stuff, that was like the perfect person. And so it is. I think it's opportunity, but mixed with just having somebody, you know, a team aspect is what I've always loved. And so you need that if you're going to do something like that.
Oh, yeah. And he didn't want us talking about him. But
he said that.
I
forgot.
He did say we weren't supposed to bring his name up. But
he does have the power to edit this out, and so I hope he doesn't.
I guess he could. Of course, I try to make my footprint very small, and I just wanted to be live to tape.
Yes.
It is what it is. You don't have to edit much out.
Yeah.
But, and who knows what he might do.
Who knows?
But he is teaching some of your
so Mike has a background in education, you know, has taught different, like the spectrum of classes. And Mike is an incredible, he would deny it, but he's an incredible teacher.
Yeah.
And that really is a testament because his past students that you'll meet and talk to, like, just love him. And so it's like, okay, clearly he must have had an impact if these students still want to talk to him and be around him. But yeah, so I think Rogue Media in itself will be involved in some way this summer with either like some intro to podcasting classes or
I think that's
audio
great.
engineering. Yeah, I've actually had two parents ask me, "Hey, I don't see like a like how to stream class. Like my student, you know, or my kid is 15 years old or 16 years old and is really trying to identify if really can they be a YouTuber? Can they stream and actually make money?" And I'm like, you can, you know, it's a lot of hard work and it's not what you see, you know, you just see this 20-minute video and think it's really easy. And there's a lot of work that goes into it. But they were like, "Yeah, that'd be great. Like if we had that class or that camp, I'd sign up my kid." And so I thought, okay, maybe.
Well, why not?
Yeah, why not? So I'm sure we'll get Rogue and involved in some way and try our best to get Mike involved a little bit too. So.
Well, he's great, I have to say. It's just been a joy for me these past, is it 3 years or 4 years? I don't know. I lose track.
I think it's like 4.
It's 4 now because 2020 was when I retired from the station.
Yeah, and then we kind of started this amongst COVID times around there.
April 1st of 2020 was my first.
That was your first podcast?
Yeah, that would be it's the 4th anniversary.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. It's coming. Well, it's like Monday. Oh, my God. We'll have a party. Okay.
Well, we should. We should. And, I thought, a lot of podcasters say, this is episode 320. I don't know how many I've done. And then we added another one. So.
Sure. And then another one. And you're probably up there. You're in the hundreds probably.
But this is so fun, though, to talk to you about what you're doing because it is impacting kids' lives and giving maybe the kid that not interested in doing all the athletics or what music, whatever things that kids get into, but really want to use their hands and learn how to make a life.
Oh, it's that part is one of the coolest aspects because maybe they don't, certain extracurricular activities like that doesn't speak to them, but they can come in and like be creative and make something. And we've had some of our students, if they do the merchandise entrepreneurship camp, there's a at the end, the last day they sell. So they're basically making products.
So their end goal is to
to actually
make
make some money. And so we have an old school bus that we turned into like a mobile market. So took out all the seats, and there's hangers and shelves, and so we can drive that around and typically take it to the farmers market is where we go.
That's neat.
And so the students get to sell what they've made, and some of these students like are walking away. I mean, we had one senior last year, it was like $1,800, like some actually like real money. Like, making $10 isn't bad either, but when you're like cutting a check to a student for $1,000, it's like, whoa.
You're doing something.
Yeah, they made something cool. And so that aspect is there. So that's kind of the fun part of this is sometimes the parent can make some money on the deal after their kiddo goes through the camp.
Well, let's talk a little bit how to go about signing up now. How can folks get that information? Is there a cost? I presume?
No, great question. So triplewinwaco.com is our website. You'll go to it. It has info like on our makerspace that you can have a membership at, but primarily it's where you sign up for summer camps right now. So you click there, it'll give you like a menu with all the dates and what
even ages.
And ages, yes, it's broken up between basically kids, teens, and adults.
Okay.
And so from there, you can click the class or the camp you want. They all vary in prices. All of our instructors, most of them are teachers that obviously they're off for the summer. And so they're doing this to kind of make some side money. So there is a cost to it. It all varies. Just depends on what class you take. Some of them are more expensive just because there's more that goes into it.
And things.
Materials. Some are a little cheaper.
So you don't have to you have to bring equipment with you necessarily, like a drill? I got a drill at home. I don't know. I don't know what you need.
And don't bring your drill. No,
you
don't have to bring anything. You just bring yourself.
Okay.
And usually if you're a morning class or morning camp, they start about 8 a.m. So we try to time it, like if mom or dad or grandma and grandpa, whoever's going to work or something, they can drop the kiddo off and then pick them up around lunch.
Yeah.
Or they can stay for the afternoon camps
if they're
as
doing
well.
two classes.
So, yeah.
Oh, that is really neat. That's
cool.
really neat. Well, we have a few minutes left, and
Sure.
I know I did this. We interviewed before.
Yes.
Which... I promise you, I've slept. I don't remember what your answers were.
Okay, that's fine.
But
Let's
here we go.
Okay.
It's the questionnaire from the late great James Lipton.
Oh, I love it.
Yep, from inside the actor's studio.
Oh man!
What, Corey, is your favorite word?
My favorite word, efficiency.
That's good.
That's my favorite word. I think I try to do everything. I try to make life as efficient as possible. So I'm going to say that's my word.
I was going to say I think that's a first.
Is that a first?
Am I the first many hundred of these I've done? That's a first.
I love it.
What about your least favorite word, though?
Oh, my least favorite word is. I'm sure someone has said this because I want to cheat. Can I just say like I don't know? Like when people say, "Well, I don't know." Oh, I can't. That eats at me, Ann.
Yeah,
so,
really.
So maybe the word no.
Yeah,
Maybe that summarizes.
But it's sort of a giving up. Like I don't know.
Well, yeah, and it mainly I think comes from having staff or employees, and I'm like, well, why did we do it that way? Well, I don't know. Like, what? You don't know? How do you not know?
We've always done it that way. I don't know.
We've always done it.
I don't know.
They usually probably end up. It's like, well, it's your fault, Corey. Yeah.
That's another first.
There
I don't
you go.
think anybody's responded that way. So, what turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Getting a group of people, and it'd be one or maybe 4 or 5, whatever. Like, you start getting the creative juices flowing, and you throw an idea that's in there. Oh yeah. And then this person, well, then you could do that.
Yeah,
and then and then it just, an hour goes by and you've created this enterprise already, Yeah. And so that, I love that stuff. Mm-hmm. I think I've become, as I've gotten older and been doing this longer, like sometimes my brain starts just going to like logistically, how do we get this done? And so maybe it kills some of the creativity side because I'm like, nope, that's not feasible, guys. We can't do that. But that is something that is a lot of fun. I think when you get a group of people together, or just again one other person, where you start going back and forth on something.
Well, what turns you off creatively or spiritually or emotionally?
Yeah, I think all getting bogged down with like a bunch of little things all the time, and that's probably pretty common for a lot of people.
Yeah,
but
I have heard that.
You have the
little details of life.
Oh, just like the death by 1,000 cuts kind of thing, and even, if you're, like you said, with, professionally or spiritually, if you're, a Christian and you're trying to, strive for, following Christ in these things. And a lot of times it's like, you're like, okay, I'm going to read my Bible today, or I'm going to go to church, or, I'm going to sit down with my wife and read this devotional. And then you get a text from this, and the kid and the dog pees on the floor or something. And then it's just all these, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, I didn't get it done because these all these little things. So I'm going to say that.
Right. What sound do you love the most?
Oh, this is gonna sound terrible. I think like the cha-ching sound. It's and it's not
You're
even
an entrepreneur.
and it's not even it's not even like the greed aspect. It's not that. I'm not like a greedy money person. It just but money and the cha-ching is like sadly the way. There's other ways to measure success.
Yeah.
But ideally if things are profitable, it's something's working right.
It's working.
And so now you can use that and put it back into the business or do whatever you want. But I think it does give you an indicator that we're on the right track at least. So
Okay.
I'll take cha-ching.
Okay, so what sound do you not like?
Do I not?
What sound do you hate? The silence of the till.
Not the sound. The sound I hate, Ann, is the sound of the train going through downtown.
Oh gosh,
that one is
even way up here on the 21st floor. We can still. Oh,
I know.
I can hear the train.
I did not. I was like, when we moved up here, I was like, well, at least we won't be able to hear the train. First day we were here, I was like, no way, we hear that train. So that train, and then our shop on Webster where we were rode before.
We'd have to stop taping.
We were on the train track.
Yeah, it was very close.
I'll say the train horn. Train horn.
Okay, so you have charted out your professional career, and every day's a new day. I mean, who knows in 5 years, where you'll be.
Yeah.
But what profession would you like to have tried?
Oof. If
you already mentioned it, really, about sports.
Something about sports. Before that, actually, when I was a freshman at Baylor, you had to. It wasn't even a major, but I like to declare it as like pre-law.
Really?
And so our like community groups, or I forget your welcome week groups, we were all paired up with people that were pre-law. And so it was interesting, but I always loved the aspect of helping people. Lawyers have all different types of reputations, but for the most part, there are some that really do just to help people. Yeah. And I always loved that.
Hats off to those that do that pro bono work.
Huge. I mean, that changes people's lives in a good way. And so I think if I had the ability to like read, like really dive, it was the reading, and it was so much reading. Oh my gosh.
That in the accounting.
I had that in the accounting, yeah. But I think being a lawyer would have been a cool other life that I don't know. I took a sports law class in grad school.
Oh yeah.
And like I loved it. I actually loved the homework. Yeah. And so I went up to Dr. Peterson was my professor, and I said, Dr. Peterson, I love this. Like, this is so great. And he's like, well, tell me what you love about it. And I'm telling him, and I'm like, yeah, and these briefs aren't that long. They're like 5 pages. And he's like, oh, Corey, I'm giving you guys the summary. He's like, the real ones are 90 pages. Yeah. He's like, you would never read it. And I was like, oh, so
there we go.
I knew at that point it wasn't going to work.
Okay. All right. Well, what profession, what job do you know you would not want?
Oh, what would I not want? Oh, that is a fantastic question. I can do a lot of jobs. Like, I had one at the Pogue Library on campus, and I had correspondence, old letters, and I would just input them. I was by myself downstairs in a basement, and the guy that hired me, just based on the interview, was like, "You're gonna hate this. Like, you are. I just based on how I'm talking to you. You sounds like you need to be around people." And I was like, "No, I really like. I can put my head down and go." And I really enjoyed that job. Yeah. But one I wouldn't like. I've been a waiter.
I was going to say, a lot of people would say waiting.
Yeah, a lot of people say, no, I actually didn't mind just talking to the people.
Well, and you're a people person.
Cleaning up things. That didn't bug me. I love doing dishes. There's something about doing dishes, Ann, that just gets me excited. Just getting the stuff off.
Man.
Cleaning them up. It's so fun. I don't know.
Dream husband, too.
Yeah, it's true. My wife and I have a good.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't think I would like being a cook or a chef.
Oh, okay.
My wife's a fantastic cook, and I will chop stuff. I'm the sous chef, and then I do the dishes.
Right.
But I just get so hungry, or I start seeing it being made, and I'm like, I just want to eat this. And then I'm terrible with timing. So, you have
there is a skill to that.
There is. You have 3 pots going and the oven's on, and then you got to make this, and that stresses me out.
Yeah.
So I'd say being a chef, I would be terrible.
Okay, well, that's all right. That's good. One last question. When you arrive at the pearly gates, what do you want to hear God say?
Oh, I just hope that, I do hope that that God is, proud of what I tried to do here on earth. I fail all the time and every day, but, trying to glorify him and what we do is what I strive to do. And I hope he is proud, and I know there'll be, Corey, you messed up on these things, or what were you doing? But yeah, I hope that's what it is. So,
well, you are doing well. Yeah. I can see, and I appreciate you so much.
Well, we appreciate you,
everything that you've done, that you've built so far, and the things that are on the way. I think we'll just marvel.
I think so.
Because your heart is in the place of helping people, and I think that's the key.
Well, the city's growing, and and people.
So many changes.
Yes, I think people are open to the changes too, and change is hard, and sometimes it's uncomfortable. But I do think we're in a position here, being Wacoans, that are trying to embrace it, and I think people are, 2015, 2016, 2017, there was I think kind of a way of doing things, and now I think things have shifted in a good way. So yeah,
absolutely.
Cool.
All right, and again, the website for Triple Win.
Yeah, triplewinwaco.com. It's /classes or something, but just go to the website and you'll see the sign up for camps.
Yeah, so. It's going to be a fun summer.
It'll be really cool.
All right, thank you, Corey.
Thanks, Ann.
And thanks for being with us, and we will see you again next time on Central Texas Life. Bye-bye.
Central Texas Life with Ann Harder is part of the Rogue Media family. Be sure to check out our other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate this show 5 stars on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Life with Ann Harder. This has been a Rogue Media Network production.